Hello everyone, chose this custom made background I made. Now let me get straight to the point. Here's why I believe Dark Unicorn Studios um would be a great chef. Now, I recently watched his analog horror video, Death on the Road, but you know it's just some high quality analog horror. I haven't seen some good analog horror in a while, so I might as well explain to you why I believe that Dark Unicorn Studios would make a good chef if they somehow ended up becoming a chef rather than an analog horror artist. Anyways, so the first point I made is traditionalism and all that other stuff. While Dark Record Studios analog horror series is nothing short of traditional, it's also nothing short of cliche. So first of all, Death on the Road is set in the year 2005, basically 19 years before the present day, 2024. Now while analog horror does indeed have a property of being set back in time periods that are less advanced, for example, the 1980s, the 80s, the 90s, sometimes the 1970s, and in one instance, the Monument Missile, some segments were set in the 1920s, 30s, 50s, 1960s, 70s, and one segment was even from the 1850s. Now, basically, while Death on the Road is set in 2005, at the same time, he, it is still advanced enough to have some other things that other series lack because of their lack of technology. Basically, my overall point is that well, the Unicorn Studios would stick to traditionalism. They would not be too traditional to the point where it's cliche. So if you try to order a ramen bowl from Dark Unicorn Studios, you might get a ramen bowl, but it might taste different. Don't worry about it tasting different though, because on to my next point, it syncs up very well. So basically, the time period it is set in 2005 was a time period where compact video cameras alongside new video and photo editing technology basically makes it that you can make movies in your own home, something that wasn't achievable before. In fact, the cheapest home movies from back then were like look ultra bulk crabby patty. Yeah. But in this time period is like it was like something that was one of those rare instances where people actually realized the importance of technology. Because with this new technology, teenagers and kids from back then sought out to make high quality home movies and make themselves famous and rich out of it. In fact, this was actually the plot of one of my favorite horror games, Backrooms 1998, that is set in the entirety of the game is basically set in one of these home movies. However, it's some backrooms lore and stuff, but that's basically a short summary of it. This matches up with the timeline very well. The time period being 2005, a time period when these things were around, and the main character actually exploited some of the supernatural ongoings. A very bad summary is that someone exploits supernatural events for clout. Basically, Scream Stream from Roblox, but it's set in the year 2005. By all means, hey, I just got an awesome like video game idea. Scream Stream, but it's set in the 2000s rather than the far future. Lol. Anyways, my point is, it syncs up very well. It makes tons of sense. Obviously, a young protagonist in from that time period obviously come with the idea of exploiting supernatural events for clout, which is kinda it's kinda a age of him. It's kind of butthole of him to do that, given said supernatural events involve his brother's death. But it is what it is. It syncs up very well. It's not perfect. Nothing is ever perfect except for Jesus Christ, but at the same time, it's so good. So while Dark Unicorn Studios ramen may be a jump from tradition, the flavor will still sync very well. Next is the consistency of the stuff. By the way, I don't actually know what consistency means. I do have some vague level of understanding of the word, but I don't have a full understanding of it. I actually just learned the word from analysis videos of more popular series. But, anyways, long story short, I do understand what the word means. I just don't have a detailed understanding of it. So if I use the wrong word or have a wrong idea altogether, just correct me in the comments. Assuming I didn't accidentally put them on private. Basically, the way it is executed is just really well. The it the protagonist does what any protagonist in their situation would do. Exploiting supernatural events for clout, for fame, whether people believe it to be real or not. What matters is that it's good, and therefore people will still like it regardless. So they will go to the forest with breadcrumbs and record the camera and record the events going on. There's no jump scares and stuff, and basically just good execution, good execution. Which is why I believe that if Dark Unicorn Studios was a chef, they would probably probably be good with flavoring it, making sure that the flavor is not too salty, not too sweet, not too sour, not too spicy. And on to the last point is that the extra detail put into it, like the video was made with passion. I don't know how. I actually start to believe that Dark Unicorn Studios might have multiple actors rather than just himself and his toys just sitting around. Either that or Dark Unicorn Studios has some good editing, or just maybe he uses like some sort of puppets or maybe animatronics, but I highly doubt animatronics because those things are expensive AF. And Dark Unicorn Studios doesn't seem to be the type of person to use those anyways. Like, I don't mean to insult him, but this guy is a type of person who I like has a like commoner level understanding of technology. I don't think he doesn't have the I don't think he would have the proper skill to like operate an animatronic. But back to my point, the amount of detail and overall lack of like how polished it is. You may think I'm exaggerating and just saying this because Darkness Constitutes is my friend, but well, one of the things I like about the series, the lighting system in the live POVs. They're they're how do I say this? The sites or locations where they record it has some really good natural lighting, and they make sure of that because there's no goofy moments, or like there's no instance where a flashlight has to be used. And another detail I love is that this is in a time period before iPhones. There are cell phones that have cameras on them, but not the ones with flashlights and all those gadget, the the technology and stuff. Without those gizmo go gadget stuff, which basically adds even much better detail because This seems to be recorded from a video camera, compact video camera, but at the same time, it just makes tons of sense to be recorded in a compact video camera, not because of the time period itself, but also the fact that many of the scenes have a lack of flashlight use, if not no flashlight use at all. I just realized how heavy my phone is actually. Anyways, sorry for that. So overall, Dark Unicorn Studios would put extra d- effort into sautéing the whole scene. Not only that, you can also notice that there's a good connection of the locations here. We have a also pretty nice picture of how each areas are connected without Dark Unicorn Studios just saying, "Oh, the path in the forest here is connected to this road." I actually discerned that there was this path in the forest from part 3 that led to the dark forest parts, and that how I knew that these parts were connected was that by the time they started running from the stalker thing, they quickly hopped onto the road, so that gave me a good idea as to like the locations itself. As you can already notice, the detail is really nice. So I believe that if Dark Unicorn Studios was a chef, they would make a good chef, a passionate one. I just hope that if Dark Unicorn Studios somehow becomes a chef, they don't become too artsy and stuff. Once again, what matters is the flavor of the food itself. Similar to how what matters in analog horror is the overall horror and the analog of it itself. The theme of technology itself. The theme of the use of technology of the time period. That is the essence, the true essence. And I don't really see any departures from it actually. So I believe Dark Unicorn Studios would make a great chef if he were to get interested in cooking. Also, I just said he, but I don't really know their gender. I assume that they're many assume that they're a male. They might be a male. They're most likely to be a male, but at the same time, I'm still traumatized from an incident where I listened to someone's voice and thought they were a male when in reality they were a female who was just using a deep voice. Maybe Dark Unicorn Studios could be a girl using a deep voice. Imagine that. That would be goofy. It would be like a plot of some romance manga or something. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please check out my friends' channels. Maybe I could put references to them, and goodbye.